Most fat loss advice tells you to just eat less or exercise more, and honestly, that's exhausting, right? You've tried cutting calories, hitting the gym, maybe even doing all the trendy diets, and yet somehow that stubborn belly fat just won't budge. What if I told you that the real problem isn't your willpower, your diet, or even your motivation? It's actually insulin, the hormone that controls how your body stores and uses energy. Insulin isn't the enemy, but when it gets out of balance, it traps fat in your belly, slows your metabolism, and leaves you feeling tired and stuck. And here's the good news, there's a simple, science-backed insulin switch that can flip this process around. When you turn this switch on, your body can start burning fat up to 10 times faster, effortlessly tapping into stored energy rather than constantly hanging onto it. You don't need fasting, keto, or restrictive diets, just understanding how this switch works and using it correctly. This video is about uncovering that switch and explaining exactly how it impacts your metabolism, insulin sensitivity, and fat storage. You'll see why your previous efforts might not have worked, and how small, strategic changes can make a huge difference in releasing stubborn fat, stabilizing energy, and reducing cravings. It's like giving your metabolism a reset button, finally letting your body do what it's naturally designed to do. I want you to think about your own journey for a moment. Have you ever felt stuck no matter how hard you tried? That plateau isn't a reflection of your effort, it's your insulin signaling getting in the way. And here's the exciting part. This insulin switch could very well be the missing piece you've been searching for. Comment below. Have you ever felt stuck despite dieting, and could this insulin switch be the missing piece? Insulin is one of those hormones that most people hear about but rarely understand in a way that actually makes a difference. It's often painted as the villain behind weight gain, but really, insulin is just doing its job. It's your body's main signal for managing blood sugar and storing energy. When you eat carbohydrates, your blood sugar rises, and insulin is released to move that sugar from your bloodstream into your cells, where it can be used for energy. That's a good thing, because without insulin, your body wouldn't have a way to fuel itself. The problem arises when insulin starts working too hard. If your diet, stress levels, or lifestyle habits cause your body to release insulin frequently or in high amounts, your cells can start to become resistant to it. Think of it like this. Insulin is knocking on your cell's doors, but the cells stop answering. Your body responds by producing even more insulin to get the message through. Over time, high insulin levels become the norm, and this is when fat storage goes into overdrive. Insulin doesn't just control blood sugar, it's also the gatekeeper of fat storage. When insulin is high, your body is essentially being told, don't release fat, store it instead. That means calories you eat, even healthy ones, are more likely to get locked away in fat cells, especially around the belly and visceral areas, the fat that wraps around your organs. That belly fat isn't just about appearance. It's metabolically active and can interfere with hormones, inflammation, and even energy levels. When insulin resistance sets in, your body struggles to access stored fat for energy. Normally, between meals or during activity, insulin drops low enough for your body to release fat from storage and burn it for fuel. But with insulin resistance, those fat cells essentially lock the door. Your body keeps holding onto the energy it doesn't need at the moment, leaving you stuck on the weight plateau no matter how carefully you eat or how often you exercise. It can feel unfair, but it's just biology doing exactly what it's being told to do. This is why understanding insulin is so important if you want to finally burn stubborn fat. It's not about blaming yourself for eating too much or moving too little, it's about recognizing that your body's fat burning machinery is being blocked by a hormonal signal. And the good news is, insulin isn't permanent enemy. When you learn how to support insulin sensitivity, you can start unlocking those fat cells and using stored energy efficiently again. That's the key to consistent, sustainable fat loss, especially around the belly and visceral areas that are notoriously difficult to target. You don't have to dive into complex biochemistry to get this. Picture insulin as a traffic light for energy. Green means go, use energy, and red means stop, store energy. In insulin resistance, the light gets stuck on red, keeping fat locked in place. The goal is to reset the light so it cycles correctly again, allowing your body to burn stored fat naturally, without forcing yourself through extreme diets or exhausting workouts. Small changes in how and when you eat, how you manage stress, and how you move your body can have a massive impact on insulin. Once insulin sensitivity improves, your metabolism begins to function the way it's supposed to: stable energy, fewer cravings, and the ability to access stored fat easily. It's not a quick fix, but it's the kind of change that lasts because it addresses the underlying biology, not just the symptoms. Understanding insulin also changes how you think about dieting. Instead of constantly restricting calories or cutting entire food groups, you can focus on habits that support insulin balance. That might look like pairing protein with carbs, spacing meals to allow insulin to drop between eating, or incorporating movement that helps your muscles use sugar efficiently. These small science-backed adjustments are powerful because they work with your body, not against it, helping you finally release stubborn fat without feeling deprived. Once you see insulin for what it really is, a messenger that can either trap fat or release it, it becomes clear why previous attempts at fat loss may have failed. It's not a lack of effort, it's a misfiring signal that can be corrected. By learning to flip this insulin switch, you're giving your body permission to do what it's designed to do: burn stored fat, maintain steady energy, and keep your metabolism humming. Most diets make it seem like weight loss is all about willpower, cutting calories, or choosing the right foods. You might have tried low carb, keto, intermittent fasting, or even clean eating, and for a while it may have worked. The scale might have moved, your clothes might have fit a little looser, and you felt like you were finally doing it right. But then, suddenly, progress stalls. You hit a plateau, cravings kick in, and the fat you thought you'd lost seems determined to come back. It's frustrating, and it's easy to blame yourself, but the truth is, it's rarely about discipline. It's usually about insulin. Insulin is the hidden factor that determines whether your body stores fat or burns it for fuel. Most diets focus on energy in versus energy out, assuming that if you eat less than you burn, fat will melt away. That works in theory, but in practice, it ignores a crucial hormonal layer. High or mismanaged insulin keeps your body in fat storage mode, even if you're eating less. You can cut calories, skip meals, or go keto, and your insulin might still be high enough that your body refuses to tap into those fat stores. This is why many people see temporary results on diets but can't maintain them long term. Take keto, for example. It's designed to lower blood sugar and reduce insulin spikes, and for some people, it works beautifully. But if other lifestyle factors, stress, sleep deprivation, frequent snacking, or even hidden carb intake, keep insulin elevated, fat loss slows down, plateaus, or reverses. The same goes for low-calorie diets. You might think you're eating less, but if your insulin is constantly signaling your body to hold onto fat, the calories you're restricting are not enough to override that hormonal message. Your body prioritizes survival, holding onto stored energy in anticipation of scarcity, which is why crash diets are often followed by rapid regain. Caloric restriction alone can also backfire. When your body senses fewer calories coming in, it often slows metabolism, reduces energy expenditure, and increases hunger hormones. Insulin resistance compounds this problem because your body is less efficient at using stored fat for energy. You may feel tired, irritable, or constantly hungry, even while technically eating less. This is why diets alone rarely solve the problem. They address symptoms without tackling the root cause. Insulin optimization changes everything because it targets the underlying signal controlling fat storage. When insulin becomes more sensitive, your body can access stored fat easily, even without extreme restriction. Your metabolism runs more smoothly, energy levels stabilize, and cravings decrease. That's why a sustainable fat loss approach isn't just about cutting calories or carbs. It's about creating an environment where insulin is balanced, and your body can naturally switch from storage mode to fat burning mode. Another key point is that restrictive diets can be mentally and physically exhausting. They often create a cycle of deprivation, binging, and guilt, which can actually worsen insulin resistance over time. Cortisol, the stress hormone, rises under chronic dieting stress, which further impacts insulin, creating a feedback loop that makes fat loss feel impossible. By focusing on insulin regulation instead, you're working with your body rather than against it, allowing you to burn fat efficiently without extreme rules or constant self-policing. The takeaway is that the scale is not the full story. You could be eating perfectly and exercising daily, but if your insulin is out of balance, fat loss remains stubborn. Traditional diets can be a helpful tool, but without addressing insulin, they're often short-term fixes rather than long-term solutions. Optimizing insulin is what allows your body to finally release stored fat consistently and sustainably, making fat loss not a struggle, but a natural outcome of your body functioning properly. By understanding this, you start to see why previous attempts may have failed. It's not because you lacked commitment or discipline, it's because your hormones, particularly insulin, were controlling the fat storage process behind the scenes. Flipping this insulin switch allows you to finally work with your body instead of fighting against it, creating a path to consistent, sustainable fat loss without extreme dieting or deprivation. The idea of an insulin switch might sound complicated, but at its core, it's actually really simple. Your body has a natural ability to store and release energy, and insulin is the key that tells your cells when to store and when to release. When insulin is balanced, your body can access stored fat naturally, giving you steady energy, fewer cravings, and a metabolism that runs smoothly. But when insulin is out of balance, fat storage dominates, especially around the belly and visceral areas, and your body struggles to burn what's already there. The insulin switch is about flipping that balance so your body can do what it's designed to do. One of the easiest ways to flip this switch is through meal timing. You don't have to fast for hours or skip meals, but allowing insulin to drop between meals gives your body a chance to release stored fat for energy. Think of it like giving your metabolism a brief green light to access your fat stores. Even small adjustments, like spacing meals a little further apart or avoiding late-night snacks, can have a surprisingly big impact. When insulin has a chance to settle, your fat-burning machinery can actually turn on without forcing yourself into extreme diets. Another powerful lever is nutrient combinations. Pairing protein with carbohydrates slows down the release of sugar into your bloodstream, preventing huge insulin spikes that tell your body to store energy. Adding fiber or healthy fats into meals also helps stabilize blood sugar and keeps energy levels consistent. These are small, strategic tweaks, nothing restrictive, nothing extreme, but they reset insulin sensitivity over time and allow your body to use stored fat efficiently. It's less about cutting foods and more about combining them wisely so your hormonal signals work in your favor. Morning routines play a surprisingly big role too. Something as simple as moving your body after waking up, drinking water, or getting sunlight exposure can improve insulin sensitivity for the rest of the day. Your muscles become more receptive to glucose, which helps regulate insulin levels and reduces fat storage signals. Even short, intentional activity in the morning primes your body to respond better to meals, turning insulin into a partner in fat burning rather than a barrier. The beauty of this switch is that it doesn't require perfection or extreme effort. You're not trying to force fat loss through willpower. You're guiding your body's natural hormonal rhythm so it can access stored energy when it needs it. Over time, these small adjustments compound, improving insulin sensitivity and creating an environment where fat is naturally released and burned. When people understand the insulin switch, they realize why previous methods may have felt so exhausting. It wasn't about eating less or exercising more. It was about insulin constantly signaling your body to hold onto fat. By flipping the switch with simple, consistent habits, your body finally gets the message that it's safe to release stored energy. The result is more consistent fat loss, stable energy throughout the day, and fewer cravings. It's like finally unlocking a door that's been stuck for years. This isn't just theory, it's backed by science. Studies show that insulin sensitivity can improve with changes in meal timing, nutrient pairing, and light movement, and those improvements directly impact fat loss. What feels like subtle lifestyle tweaks are actually powerful tools that help your body burn fat naturally and efficiently, without extreme restriction or complicated programs. Once you see the insulin switch in action, the process becomes intuitive. You start thinking about meals, activity, and routines in terms of how they impact insulin. You notice cravings decrease, energy stabilizes, and fat that felt stuck begins to release. It's a sustainable, science-backed approach that works with your body rather than against it, and it turns what used to feel like a constant struggle into something much more manageable and even empowering. What we eat has a bigger impact on fat loss than most people realize, not just because of calories, but because of how foods influence insulin. Some foods send insulin skyrocketing, locking fat into storage, while others help your body respond to insulin efficiently, allowing stored fat to be released and burned for energy. Understanding which nutrients support insulin sensitivity can make fat loss feel easier and more natural without strict diets or deprivation. Fiber is one of the most powerful tools for improving insulin function. Soluble fiber, found in vegetables, fruits, legumes, and whole grains, slows the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream. That means your insulin doesn't spike dramatically after a meal, which signals your body to store less fat and use energy more effectively. It also keeps you feeling fuller for longer, reducing cravings that can trigger mindless snacking. A simple swap like adding beans to a salad or enjoying berries with breakfast can subtly but powerfully improve insulin response. Protein is another key player. It doesn't just support muscle maintenance, it helps stabilize blood sugar and slows down the absorption of carbohydrates, including lean meats, fish, eggs, or plant-based proteins with meals gives your body the tools it needs to manage energy efficiently. Protein paired with fiber or healthy carbs becomes a fat-burning combination, preventing sharp insulin spikes while keeping your body satisfied. Even snacks like Greek yogurt with nuts or hummus with veggies can reinforce this effect. Magnesium is a mineral that often flies under the radar but is essential for insulin function. Low magnesium levels are linked to insulin resistance, so getting enough through foods like leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, almonds, or dark chocolate supports your body's ability to respond to insulin. When magnesium levels are optimized, your cells are better able to use glucose for energy rather than storing it as fat, making fat burning more efficient. Healthy fats also play a crucial role in insulin sensitivity. Avocados, olive oil, fatty fish, and nuts help slow carbohydrate absorption and reduce inflammation, which is a major driver of insulin resistance. Pairing these fats with carbs or protein at meals helps create balanced blood sugar and insulin responses, allowing your body to access stored fat more easily. For example, drizzling olive oil over roasted vegetables or adding avocado to a chicken salad can have a big impact on fat, burning without feeling restrictive. Beyond individual foods, the way nutrients are combined matters. Pairing carbs with protein and fiber and including a small amount of healthy fat keeps blood sugar steady and prevents large insulin spikes. This approach doesn't just help burn the fat you already have, it protects against storing new fat unnecessarily. It's a practical, everyday way to give your body the environment it needs to flip the insulin switch. Spices and certain plant compounds can also support insulin sensitivity. Cinnamon, turmeric, and green tea contain bioactive compounds that improve how your cells respond to insulin, making it easier to access stored fat. Including these foods in meals or drinks can be a simple, sustainable strategy that compounds over time. Small changes like sprinkling cinnamon on oatmeal or adding turmeric to soups may seem minor, but when practiced consistently, they reinforce insulin-friendly eating patterns. Hydration is another surprisingly important factor. Water helps maintain blood volume and supports cellular function, which indirectly impacts insulin efficiency. Even mild dehydration can make insulin less effective. So drinking water consistently throughout the day complements the nutrient strategies that boost insulin sensitivity. The big takeaway is that fat loss isn't just about eating less, it's about eating smarter, choosing foods that stabilize blood sugar, pairing nutrients strategically, and incorporating insulin in supporting minerals and compounds allows your body to burn stored fat naturally and efficiently. You don't need extreme rules, expensive supplements, or fancy diets, just consistent, simple choices that help your insulin function optimally. When you combine fiber, protein, magnesium, healthy fats, and even certain spices into your meals, you're giving your body everything it needs to flip the insulin switch. Over time, these habits compound, improving insulin sensitivity, stabilizing energy, reducing cravings, and making fat loss feel more effortless. You're no longer fighting against your body, you're working with it. When it comes to fat loss, most people focus on food and exercise, but lifestyle habits outside the kitchen have just as much influence on insulin and your body's ability to burn fat. Sleep, stress, movement, and hydration all play a huge role in how insulin signals fat storage and fat burning, and getting these right can make all the difference in achieving consistent results without extreme diets or workouts. Sleep is one of the most underrated factors for insulin balance. When you don't get enough restorative sleep, your body produces more stress hormones like cortisol, which directly interferes with insulin sensitivity. High cortisol tells your body to hold onto fat, particularly around the belly, and can also trigger cravings for sugar and processed foods. On the other hand, quality sleep helps your body regulate hormones naturally, lowers insulin levels, and allows your metabolism to function optimally. Simple adjustments like aiming for 7 to 9 hours, keeping a consistent bedtime, and minimizing screens before bed can have a surprisingly big impact on fat burning ability. Stress management works hand in hand with sleep. Chronic stress keeps insulin elevated and makes your body more likely to store energy rather than release it. Practices like meditation, deep breathing, journaling, or even taking short breaks during the day can lower stress hormones and help reset your insulin response. It's not about eliminating stress entirely, that's impossible, but about managing it in a way that prevents it from sabotaging fat loss. Over time, these small, consistent habits make your body more resilient and better able to access stored energy naturally. Movement is another key factor. You don't need to spend hours at the gym or do intense cardio every day. Even light to moderate activity like walking, stretching, or short bouts of resistance training improves insulin sensitivity by helping your muscles use glucose efficiently. Post-meal walks, a morning mobility routine, or resistance band exercises at home can all contribute to keeping insulin balanced and fat burning pathways active. Think of movement as a way to send a signal to your body that it's okay to release stored energy and use it rather than holding onto fat unnecessarily. Hydration often gets overlooked, but water plays a crucial role in maintaining insulin function. Proper hydration supports cellular processes, helps regulate blood sugar, and even influences energy levels and appetite. Mild dehydration can impair insulin sensitivity and make it harder for your body to burn fat efficiently. Drinking water consistently throughout the day, starting with a glass in the morning, sipping between meals, and staying mindful of thirst cues, is a simple yet powerful habit that complements all the other strategies for regulating insulin. The key is consistency rather than perfection. Small, intentional changes in daily routines, going to bed slightly earlier, taking a 5-minute breathing break, adding a short walk after lunch, or drinking water regularly add up over time. These habits create an internal environment that supports insulin balance, allowing your body to access stored fat more readily and maintain energy levels throughout the day. Lifestyle habits don't just support fat loss in the short term, they also prevent insulin resistance from creeping back in. By prioritizing sleep, managing stress, moving regularly, and staying hydrated, you're giving your body the tools it needs to regulate insulin naturally. This makes fat loss feel more effortless because you're not constantly fighting against your hormones, you're working with them. Over time, these daily habits reinforce each other. Better sleep improves stress resilience, lower stress improves digestion and energy, movement enhances insulin sensitivity, and proper hydration supports every cellular process. Together, they create a stable foundation where the insulin switch stays flipped, fat burning is consistent, and cravings or energy crashes become less of a daily struggle. Once these habits are in place, the body starts functioning the way it's meant to, releasing stored fat when needed, maintaining steady energy, and keeping metabolism humming. It's not about extreme routines or complicated systems. It's about small, repeatable practices that support insulin balance every day. Building a routine that actually supports fat loss isn't about following the latest trend or forcing yourself into extreme diets. It's about creating a simple, repeatable day-to-day structure that works with your body, not against it, while keeping insulin balanced so your metabolism can function naturally. When done right, this type of routine makes fat loss feel effortless, energy steady, and cravings manageable. Start with your meals because what you eat and when you eat it sets the foundation for insulin balance. Begin the day with a breakfast that combines protein, fiber, and healthy fats, something like eggs with vegetables and avocado or Greek yogurt with berries and nuts. This gives your body the fuel it needs without causing a big insulin spike, helping your metabolism start the day in fat, burning mode rather than fat, storing mode. Spacing meals thoughtfully also matters. Aim for 3 to 5 hours between meals to allow insulin levels to drop naturally, signaling your body to access stored fat for energy. Small snacks can fit in if needed, but keeping insulin cycles regular is key. Next, focus on nutrient pairing throughout the day. Carbs should rarely be eaten alone. Pairing them with protein, fiber, or healthy fats slows glucose absorption and prevents sharp insulin spikes. Lunch could be a piece of grilled chicken with quinoa and roasted vegetables drizzled with olive oil, or a lentil salad with colorful vegetables and seeds. Snacks like nuts, hummus with veggies, or a boiled egg with fruit work to maintain steady energy and reinforce insulin-friendly patterns. Over time, this combination of protein, fiber, and healthy fat trains your body to respond efficiently to insulin, making fat burning easier. Lifestyle habits should be integrated seamlessly, include movement in your day, even in small doses. A 15 to 20-minute walk after meals or short mobility exercises in the morning primes your muscles to use glucose efficiently and helps insulin do its job properly. Prioritizing quality sleep ensures hormones stay balanced and fat-burning processes remain active, while managing stress through meditation, journaling, or simply taking mindful breaks prevents cortisol from interfering with insulin. Staying hydrated throughout the day supports every cellular process, keeping energy stable and allowing fat to be used as fuel effectively. It's not about perfection or rigidity. Flexibility is crucial for sustainability. A routine that feels too strict is easy to abandon, but a routine built around simple, repeatable habits is easy to maintain long term. The key is consistency over time, small, incremental improvements that compound, creating a stable internal environment where insulin can work optimally and fat loss happens naturally. Another important aspect is tuning in to your body's signals. Notice how you feel after certain meals or habits. Are your energy levels steady, or do you get sugar crashes? Adjust portion sizes, meal composition, or timing based on what your body needs. This approach turns insulin management from a rigid formula into an intuitive, responsive system that fits your life rather than controlling it. By combining strategic meals, smart nutrient pairing, regular movement, good sleep, stress management, and hydration, you're essentially flipping the insulin switch daily. Your body learns to access stored fat efficiently, maintain steady energy, and reduce cravings naturally. The routine becomes a self-reinforcing cycle. Balanced insulin improves energy, energy supports movement and focus, and movement further enhances insulin sensitivity. Over time, this type of routine transforms how your body functions. Fat burning becomes the default state, rather than something you chase through deprivation or extreme diets. Cravings decrease, energy stabilizes, and your metabolism runs smoothly. The goal isn't speed, it's consistency and sustainability. When your daily choices consistently support insulin balance, fat loss becomes a natural outcome rather than a struggle, and maintaining it long term is entirely achievable without feeling restricted. The beauty of a sustainable insulin-focused routine is that it's simple, science-backed, and adaptable. You're not counting every calorie or cutting entire food groups. Instead, you're building habits that work with your body's biology, creating a lifestyle that supports fat burning, energy stability, and long-term health. Over time, these habits compound, turning small, intentional actions into significant, lasting results.